Hey guys, so I'm going to switch things up a little bit today for this video. I'm going to start doing these monthly update videos every now and then just to talk about and feature some things that maybe aren't long enough for an entire video, but are still pretty important. So the first thing we're going to look at today is a mini review of the Fuji GS645 Professional, and I'll let you know why that's a mini review and not a full review. And then we're also going to look at the 30-inch print I made back in the Gigapixel AI upsizing video. That finally came in. And then also have some news about a podcast I just launched today that I'm really excited about, and I want to share that with you guys. And then if you stick around to the end of the video, I'm also going to be doing a print giveaway, and I will let you know what you have to do to enter. So the first thing I want to talk about today is the Fuji GS645 Professional, and you may wonder why I don't have the camera with me today, and that is because it broke and I had to send it back. And I think it was about 6 weeks ago, in the previous update video I did, I talked about how I just picked this camera up and how I was going to do a full review on it. Well, I only got about 2 rolls of film through the camera, and then it started to develop an issue with the film advance, and I wasn't able to run any more film through it and had to send it back. But even still, I want to talk about it a little bit today, share a few of the images that I made, and just kind of give my initial thoughts on the camera. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with this camera, it was one of 3 645 rangefinders that Fuji released in the 1980s. Alongside the GS645 was the GS645W, a wide version with a 45mm lens, and the GS645S, which came with a 60mm lens. So the GS645 Pro is unique in that it's the only one out of the 3 that is a folding style of camera. And this is something that I really like, and it's something that is pretty unique when it comes to newish rangefinders, with the Fuji GF670 being the only other one that I can think of that is a folder and built after, say, 1980. And just like the GA645 that I reviewed years back, the GS645 also has a viewfinder that is in the portrait orientation when you hold the camera normally. And this was something that I mentioned before that kind of bothered me a bit and was a little bit of a downside with the camera. But I gotta say, the more that I use it and the more that I get accustomed to that style of viewfinder, the more it kind of grows on me and I enjoy it. The GS645 Pro is an all-manual camera and is pretty straightforward to use. The 75mm Fujinon EBC f3.4 lens is as good as you would expect, and I just love the way that these lenses render detail and tones. So I originally fell in love with the Fujinon lens on the GA645, and I could definitely see the same thing happening with the GS. So I ran 2 rolls of film through the camera, 1 roll of Pro 400H and then 1 roll of Provia, and the camera ended up having some sort of weird film advance issue, and then also had a light leak issue and what almost looked like smearing on some of the frames. And the Pro 400H made it through all right with just a few issues, but unfortunately the roll of Provia was pretty much a waste, and in the end I was only able to save maybe a handful of frames from the camera. So on one hand, the issues that I had with this camera just make me nervous about the fragility of it. And I've also heard stories about there being light leaks with the bellows on these cameras. But on the other hand, just the size of the camera and how compact it is being a folder, and then the fact that it has a really nice built-in light meter that seemed to be pretty accurate, and it also has a really nice Fujinon lens on it, still makes it pretty attractive for me, but I'm undecided yet if I'm gonna pick another one up. So I'd love to know if you've ever had experience with this camera and if you've ever had any issues, because that'll kind of be the deciding factor for me moving forward, just because these cameras are getting pretty expensive and harder to find. So before I invest in another, I just want to make sure that it's going to be something that is going to last me more than just a couple rolls of film. But overall, just with the size of it and the really nice lens, this camera is definitely probably one of the best options out there for a medium format travel camera. So next up, the print finally came in from the Gigapixel AI upsizing video, and I actually got 2 of these. You can see one on the wall behind me back there. That one got damaged during shipping, so they sent me another one, which just came in. But if you missed that video, basically what we did is we took a small, not even 3,000 pixel wide film scan, and we upsized it to make a 30-inch wide print using Topaz Labs Gigapixel AI software, which is an AI-driven upsizing software. So in that video, I said I was really impressed with the results and just how the upsized image looked on the screen compared to the version that we resized with Photoshop. So we did really push the image far, considering the original one was about not even 12 inches wide for printing, and we upsized it all the way to 30 inches without changing the pixels per inch. And this is something that I would normally never do. I would usually just go and rescan first, but I was definitely impressed with the Gigapixel AI software and the results that we saw on the screen. Well, I gotta say, the print looks as good as I thought it was going to, and that's even if you do what photographers do and stick your face right up to it and check out the detail. It still holds up really well. And then if you take into account the normal viewing distance for a print this size, where you aren't gonna be 4 inches away, it's even more impressive, and it just looks really, really good. I was super impressed. So the fact that we can print this large from a small film scan that would be equivalent to kind of one of the budget scans you would get from most labs really opens up a lot of possibilities. And you know, for me, I still haven't purchased the software. I was running a trial to do this test. I'm still undecided if I will, even though the results were really, really nice. But I think personally, I'll still go the route of rescanning, and most of my work's medium format, so I'll probably always kind of have the room there to rescan to get a bigger image size. But I think if you shoot a lot of 35, this software could be really useful, just because obviously you'll be a little limited with the resolution when it comes to scanning a smaller negative size. And the last thing I want to talk about today is a new podcast that I just launched called The Contact Sheet. And this is something that I'm super excited about. You can find it on Apple Podcasts as well as Spotify. And then I've also put a link in the description below to the website where you can find out all sorts of more information as well as links to the episodes. So this is something that I've been wanting to do for a while now, just to start a podcast about photography, but not just about the craft, also about the creative journey. And you know, I've always been interested in talking to other photographers and just learning about how they got to the point where they're at today, and also about the lessons that they learned along the way and the realities that come with the pursuit of a craft. So not just the technical side of things, but also things like discovering your style and your direction, pursuing projects, failures, the ups and downs of creative life, and also the lessons learned. So I think it's super important to be able to connect and relate with one another, and also just be able to learn from other people's experiences that they've had along the way. So anyways, launch today. There's 3 episodes up there on the website featuring some really great photographers, and I think these conversations have a lot of value in them. So I'd be super pumped if you checked it out. If you enjoy it, please share it, review it, and definitely let me know your thoughts. So last but not least, the print giveaway. So this is actually a print that's left over from the fundraiser I did. And if you guys didn't see the updates, we raised over $3,000 Canadian. So thank you all for that. It was just amazing. But I had this one print left over, so I thought it'd be fun to do a giveaway. This is an image, probably one of my favorite images from my recent trip out to New Mexico. So yeah, just had this one left over and figured I'd do a giveaway. All you gotta do to enter is simply just leave a comment below, and I'll pick a winner before next week's video. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this update. That's kind of everything I got going on. I got an exciting video coming up next week that I think you guys will like. Until then though, thank you all for watching. We'll see you soon.